my God!
All right, welcome everybody. Collectors of Everything, Experts of None, episode 31. Pete, how are you?
Good, thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and we've got a third person here tonight again, which is fantastic. Paul Essenson, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So Paul is an expert artist in regards to Marvel cards and Upper Deck, which we'll be having a good conversation with you very shortly. And look, let's get into it. First of all, guys, appreciate all the feedback we've been getting on the show. We've had plenty of comments and whatnot in the last couple of weeks, Pete, around just different questions and things like that. The 1994 podcast we had last week was fantastic. Had a huge amount of feedback on that. And we've got a question at the end, which I'm sure, Paul, you can jump into as well. I'm assuming you were around in 1994.
I watched that last episode. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Well, it's quite interesting, just some of the things that happened in 1994.
It's a good
I was
year,
speaking
man.
to a guy yesterday. He was blown away. He's like, I didn't realize how much cool stuff happened. I said, no, we didn't either. That's why we did the podcast. So, so guys, if you're liking it, make sure you're sharing it with all your collector friends and getting on there and subscribing on YouTube as well. And we're actually on X as well at the moment, which is going quite well. Shout out to Stan, obviously. This podcast is brought to you by icollekt, and the app's been going really well. We're getting some interesting characters on there at the moment. It's certainly building up some momentum. There's a lot of stamps coming up at the moment and a bit of art as well. There's been a couple of groups that have been coming up in regards to Matchbox again. So, guys, if you're into diecast, make sure you're jumping on there and having a look. As I mentioned to you last episode, you can actually download it and get on there now without signing up. Have a quick look about what it's all about. And then if you're interested, which I'm sure you will be, you can get on there and sign up and then have a chat with all your collector friends and whoever else is in the genre that you really like. And for myself, obviously, it's trading cards. For Pete, it's Star Wars, Boba Fett mainly, which we're about to get into. I'm segueing again, Peter, just so you know. Yep. And so let's get into the news for the week. Pete, let's talk about this Boba Fett. I know I hate talking about Star Wars, but you love it, so let's talk about it. What's happened in the Star Wars universe in the last week?
So we just actually had one of the auction houses had one of the pre-production, I think it was a J-slot rocket-firing Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. This is the holy grail of Star Wars toys that you can get. Probably the only thing that is a little bit rarer was the Black Wampa, which came out in Mexico in the Lily Letty set. But it's not even known if that was made or it was just a rumor competition.
Yeah, right.
So people have claimed that they have Black Wampas, and people are kind of like, ugh. But I mean, the J-slot and the L-slot rocket firing Boba Fett were big because during the production, the Battlestar Galactica, which came out earlier, had the same sort of mechanism on its back. Yeah. And some kid shot the rocket straight into his mouth, choked on it, and died. So they literally stopped the production. Yeah. That was the reason why that was the reason why they stopped the production of the rocket firing Boba Fett's. So they pretty much just sealed up the mold and just kept making them without the little rocket spring in the back and just super glued all the rockets in.
Like, that's not cool, but that's a weird way to stop a line of toys.
Well, I mean, it didn't really stop it. They sort of kept the production, but I think there's about 10 to 12 known in existence, and they all came out of the Kenner factory in Cincinnati. Yeah. You sort of had to know a factory worker or, a quality control person who actually had them. So a lot of them don't even actually have paint on them. They're just like a blue stock plastic.
Okay.
But the big news is the one at auction sold for over $500,000 US, which I think works out to be about $14 to $15 million Australian. But it's
almost.
I mean, the big thing is it's more than double what the last sale was for this.
So I was going to say, what was the last sale? Like 250.
I believe the last sale was around 200 to 250,000 US. So, which is nothing to sneeze at. But I mean, in a market where everybody's sort of feeling the pinch on their pennies, to have a sale of that magnitude is pretty massive, and it sort of shows that the Star Wars collectiverse is actually rolling along with full steam.
Yeah,
not so much on the new stuff, but vintage. There's definitely a big thing going on. So it's really good.
That's fantastic.
The funniest thing is you go through the comments on some of the groups on Facebook and stuff like that, and there's always the one dude that goes, "Man, I swear I had one of them when I was a kid," and you're like, "Yeah, nah, man, you didn't." you didn't. If you did, maybe your mum worked for Kenner. But
threw it out.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to love the guys that are just hoping that, somewhere in their parents' attic, they've got a rocket firing Boba Fett that's going to give them $500,000.
Hopefully.
But yeah, I mean, it's a massive story, and it just goes to show that, even through all the new stuff that Disney's doing and the new characters that they're bringing out, people still love the classics. They still love their Boba Fett.
Of course they do, because they're not mass-produced, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure. And, they're over 40 years old now, so they're getting harder and harder to find in decent condition, especially like mint on cards and things like that. It's a 40-year-old piece of cardboard is not meant to last with perfect edges for that long.
No, I agree.
It's
totally agree.
It's a pretty big thing. So actually, it's what
So it's going up.
Did you grow up with any Star Wars figurines as a kid?
No, not Star Wars. My earliest ones that I remember were Ninja Turtles. I remember getting a lot of the first line of the Ninja Turtles. I remember very vividly. They had like rubbery heads. It's very distinctive about them.
They're kind of squishy. You could sort of push their face in, couldn't you?
Yeah. I remember that. I had heaps of them, but pretty sure my mom would have sold them at a yard sale at some stage, unfortunately.
She made good money, I'm sure.
I think that one thing I have from my childhood, that old, I've got a Matchbox or whatever car in the package still of the Dukes of Hazzard General Lee.
Oh wow, nice.
From 1981.
Yeah,
that's great. I mean,
but it's pretty
amazing.
Damaged, like cardboard.
It's amazing how much the Dukes of Hazzard stuff is actually like still really commands a high value, especially for the toys. So it's
Can I tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I had a weird phenomenon. I actually watched the newer movie, Dukes of Hazzards, and I'm driving down King George's Road in Sydney, and there's someone has painted it exactly the same as the General Lee was driving on the other side of the road and went past me with the full flag and everything. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I must be dreaming, but it wasn't. It was actually the car. They'd painted it the same. Anyway, it was pretty cool. So that's no joke, actually. Like, it was really weird because I'd just been watching the movie the night before at like 11 o'clock at night or something, a random movie coming on television. But yeah, then I saw the car and it looked awesome. It looked really cool.
I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen the new movie. Was that the one with Johnny Knoxville in it?
Yeah.
And there's an Australian chick in it, and that's where he says, "Let's put another shrimp on the Barbie," and that's where all the Americans get that. Let's put another shrimp on the Barbie from. And then I come here, I say, "No, we don't say shrimp."
Yeah, we don't.
Good one, man. Yeah, good one.
Exactly. Yeah, it was our fault, to be fair, the whole shrimp on the Barbie thing. I mean, we started that whole marketing campaign in the 80s, I think it was, and then everyone resonated with it, and then we should never have started that. But anyway, that's damn you, Paul Hogan.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Yeah, everyone thought we were all like Paul Hogan.
Absolutely.
All of us are Crocodile Dundee.
American is either Crocodile Dundee or Steve Irwin, and that was it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, who else do you have? Or Mel Gibson, and then you're looking at Mad Max.
Yeah.
Mad Max
well, I've been some places in the Outback that are probably very similar to Mad Max territory.
Absolutely.
So it wouldn't take too much to take that next step into it. So
you don't have to drive very far from Geraldton to find that, I'll tell you.
I bet you don't. Yeah. There's no one saving you a couple of hours from there, I bet you.
A bunch of nothing.
And just for reference, Geraldton is on the west side of Australia, which is a little bit more desolate, should I say, than the east coast. And there's few and far between towns once you get outside of those few areas. But anyway, so Star Wars, awesome. Boba Fett, $500,000. Let me tell you about the Jordan card that's just sold. which was the 2003 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection, which was a Logo Man. And we've talked about Logo Man on this show a little bit. It sold for $2.9 million. Right?
Was this the card that wasn't even a Jordan card?
No, this was the signed Logo Man. This is the most recent
like
one.
That in the nudes somewhere.
I think I heard about what you're talking about too, Paul.
You had to wear a different jersey that night because his got stolen or something.
Yes.
Yep.
And the picture was in somebody else's card, and he was in it, and everybody wants that card now. Well,
yeah, oh man, there's a couple of those cards that are like the little oddities that people really sort of go hard at collecting. I know there's the Star Wars one, where C-3PO has, they call it the goldenrod one. It kind of looks like he has a large metal wang.
Right.
And I don't know how else to say it. Where it is, I'm going to have to put explicits on there. Yeah,
You've said it. You've said it now. That's fine.
And yeah, but like Topps obviously came back and changed it in the later printings and stuff like that. But yeah, that card is extremely rare compared to the other one. The other one is Billy Ripken, who was a baseball player, who has he's got FUCK face on the butt of his bat, and they didn't realize he's holding his bat on his shoulder like that, and you can see it clear as day in the card, which came out in like 87 or 88, and the quality control didn't pick that one up, so that's a very famous baseball card too for odd reasons.
I love it. Anyway, the previous one, as far as the research I've done, was the Upper Deck game jersey autograph, which was a 1997, which went for 1.44 million. So that's obviously quite a big increase from the last card that was sold. But then I heard these jerseys go for a lot more than that now, the signed ones, and they're quite a rarity now because he doesn't like signing anything for anyone. So I've heard.
Yeah, I would have thought that Jordan's cards were worth more than that. Because you see some Steph Curry ones, you see some Kobe ones.
Steph Curry, they've sold for huge amounts,
that are more like further in the millions than what that is. But I mean, it's Jordan. I always thought Jordan was in that higher echelon than pretty much everyone else. But
I don't know. I'm not into the sport that much, but listen, $2.9 million for a card for a dude that's retired how many decades ago? He's still winning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he doesn't get the money, but,
Well, no. Well, he doesn't need the money, I don't think.
No, I think he's pretty comfortable these days.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, he invested well.
I think Nike on its own, without everything else that he's got, have helped him out. And look, the last thing I wanted to talk about quickly was, I don't know if you remember, Pete, or Paul, actually, but do you remember Farmer Bro? Who went out and bought there was a Wu-Tang Clan album that came out, called Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, and he paid supposedly $2 million for it, and it was on its own. It wasn't commercially produced. It was just one CD, and this guy's bought it, and then these guys have taken the money for it, and you can't actually commercially sell it or get rid of it until 2103.
2103.
So this was the deal with this album that got sold. It's got 31 tracks on it. It's their seventh studio album. And obviously, as you know, Wu-Tang have brought out a fair few albums. Yep. But anyway, the reason why I'm saying this is because and I've got to get this right, the Museum of Old and New Art in Hobart on June 15th are doing, you're actually able to go and listen to it in the museum.
The Wu-Tang album.
The Wu-Tang album.
Never before heard album.
Well, it's been publicly heard once, supposedly.
Wow.
Okay. So I think it came out in either 3 or 13, but it's basically you can't produce it commercially, and they're only playing it in certain areas. Obviously, this is promotional stuff. Sorry?
I said it's pretty crazy in this day and age where something can be that secret and not leak out and be copied 1,000 times in a minute.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's like this really weird booth that you go into at the museum in Hobart, of all places. And so I looked at all these, I was doing the research and looking at all the comments and everything. It's like, you haven't been to this place. Like, it's pretty awesome in Hobart, this old and new museum.
I know of that museum because as Violent Femmes fan, the bass player for the Violent Femmes is the actual curator of the museum in Hobart as well.
So there'll be some cool stuff in there.
Yeah, he spends half his time here in Hobart and the other half in Wisconsin, I think it is, because they're from Milwaukee.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, the Femmes are, an old folk punk band from way back, so I think they've got a little bit of credibility. So being able to pull the Wu-Tang album is pretty massive.
That's awesome. It's worth a trip south.
I don't know if it's getting me to Hobart though.
Yeah, but you live a long way up north, so it's not too far for me. I'd go, but anyway, it's quite a cool. Look, it's unique, right? So it's something different, and you're absolutely right, Paul. How has it not been leaked? How has someone not figured out how to get it and then push it?
I looked into this.
Yeah,
I think it's in a special player.
Okay.
Like that they built, that it's
all
one sort of box thing, that's the only way that you can listen to it if it's in that box thing. So I didn't even know if it's like a digital copy or anything. So yeah. Still.
Okay.
I mean, it's Wu-Tang.
Well, there you go.
Everybody likes Wu-Tang.
And then when it's played, it's shredded after it's done.
Or it starts smoking.
This is my $2 million, man.
Now, that would have been good if they said 2 million bones. You get to listen to it once, and then boom, it's gone.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they did to that Banksy, wasn't it? They shredded that Banksy. When it sold at auction, and then
good's that.
Shredded, I think halfway, and it stopped, and then somebody resold it for even more money.
Of course.
Oh, really?
Of course they did.
Okay, it went up and
up. Oh,
wow. Because all the publicity.
Just because it was the gimmicky shredded one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Everybody
the
knew
half
that
shred.
That's crazy, man. I didn't know. I knew it got shredded. I didn't know it got resold. That's a story and a half.
It was actually actually at the auction house, wasn't it? As soon as it sold, then all of a sudden it went zzz and just started shredding.
Yeah.
I was thinking that
was
that penguin quote from Batman Returns.
Batman Returns.
A little patience and a lot of tape, or something like that. A little tape and a lot of patience.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the shredded docs. I remember that. That's good. I love it. It's call of the night. I love it. All right, Paul. Talk to me.
Hey, hang on.
So,
mate, hang on. Wait.
Yes.
Before we start.
What did I do wrong?
Shh.
Okay.
Paul,
yes.
We have this question that we ask, not on purpose, but it turns around and comes out. So I think I'm just going to ask every guest that we have on, who's your quintessential Batman?
Oh,
wow. The movies?
Any Batman.
The animated series Batman.
The animated? Which animated series? Like the Kevin Conroy?
Kevin Conroy.
Yep.
Him and Mark Hamill were just killing it.
Oh, yeah. As the Joker. Yeah.
Live action? Oh, I don't know. I like different ones because I like some of their Bruce Waynes better than the Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah.
I didn't like Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne. I don't think he'd had enough fun with it. I think he was too, and the newest guy, he's way not fun with it. I want to see Batman be a little fun.
Everybody hates Robert Pattinson.
He's got to put on the Playboy role a little bit and have some fun with it. Not quite as much as Tony Stark, but he's got to pretend to be Tony Stark sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, hang on. We're talking about different levels of characters here now. We're moving up very quickly to the
rich
echelon.
Billionaires with high tech gadgets.
Yeah. There is no question that the first Iron Man movie was one of the greatest movies ever made. Okay, and the way he portrayed it, hands down, one of the greatest superheroes. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Yep. Look,
still good.
So basically, what we're hearing is Robert Pattinson's a vampire idiot, and everyone else did okay. That's what I'm hearing.
Leave him alone, man. He was Cedric Diggory. Voldemort killed him. Leave him alone. Dude.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever have to watch that latest one again.
Paul, you can come on anytime.
Right. Sorry.
That's all right.
Well,
so basically, I'm right.
I was like, okay, this shit's starting to get good. And I was in the theater watching it. It was when that Batmobile came out. And I was
Yeah.
that is a cool thing.
That's the same thing that what's his name said the other day.
Harrison said.
Yeah.
One of our last guests came on, and he was like, the car.
I would, if that came on through my TikTok scroll, I'd watch it. Wow, cool. But anything else, like when he's like brooding out of masks.
Yeah.
All right.
Same question came up, and one of the guests answered exactly the same as you've just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that I would watch it all the way to the Batmobile, and then I turn it off. I don't care. That's it. That's all I'll watch.
It was legit. It was good.
All right, Peter, you lose again for the 13th time. Let's move on.
Here's a question. What was the Batman movie you've watched the most? Probably Dark Knight. Really, that's mine. Mine anyway. I've watched Batman, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Or the second one there the most, probably.
Yeah.
I think it is. I put
that's the most rewatchable, I'd say.
Yeah.
I agree.
I put Ledger's villain like up there, like almost on level with Vader as being a bad guy, like legend. He was so good at that, and Bale was great, but Ledger just took it over the edge, man.
You can't discount the third one. I don't think with Bane. I thought the character he played was sensational. I didn't think it was. I thought it was good. I thought the movie was good, and how it was set up in regards to how Gotham went to martial law, and how they were ruining it like that. But the Dark Knight's good. You can't pass Dark Knight because it's Heath Ledger.
But my favorite Batmobile was the original.
Yeah, the Keaton Batmobile was amazing.
Yeah, that Batmobile.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing. I even sort of like I love Jim Carrey as the Riddler as well. I thought Carrey was great as a Riddler. He was over the top. He was, enigmatic. But I just think that if he had been, you put him against Keaton, it would have been amazing because Keaton was just so blank pretty much for the whole movie. There was very, very little emotion shown through that, like both two films. I love Jim Carrey in that movie, and I thought him because it was him and Tommy Lee Jones, wasn't it, as Two-Face in the same? Yeah, I mean Tommy Lee Jones was a little bit too much.
Drew Barrymore was one of the hench girls.
Correct.
Yeah, she was Sugar and Spice. I think she was half of that.
She was Sugar, I think.
Yeah, because the other one dressed kind of like in leather and stuff like that with whips and stuff. So I think she was the Spice. So
funny enough, as I've said before, that Tommy Lee hated Jim Carrey in the movie. He's like, I've got no time for your buffoonery. He hated him. He actually told him to his face he hated him and just ignored him the whole time. Yeah. I'm sure he gets that a lot, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But anyway, good to see we've talked about DC for 10 minutes, Peter. Let's move on. And and I said, Paul, let me very quickly introduce you because I want to have a chat about how it's all come about. You're a sketch artist for Marvel Upper Deck, which is super awesome. I'm a massive fan of sketch cards, and you can correct me if I was just wrong when I just said that. But tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us a bit about your story.
Well, I have to start correcting you guys from the end of your last show.
All right.
When you said
good
very
start.
Well-known artist for Upper Down, none of that is anywhere close. But thank you for
That's okay.
The notion. But so I've done 2 sets so far for Upper Deck. Marvel licensed characters. Everybody assume that watching this probably knows what sketch cards are, right?
I think so. We talk about them enough, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So a lot of people, when I explain it to everyone, it's they immediately think you're getting like your card reprinted a million times, and it's like no, it's not that.
Yeah,
that'd be nice, but no. But where do you want me to start?
So how did you get into the obviously you're now doing the art. How did you start the art journey? You've gone from somewhere?
Yep. Well, way back in the day, I used to collect Marvel cards out of packs. I've still got a bunch of them. I was looking at them the other day.
Awesome.
They're great. And I still have old sketchbooks from way back when where I would just copy cards, copy card. It didn't matter who the artist was. It was just if it looked cool or it was a cool character that I liked. Mm-hmm. And most of them were Marvel cards. And yeah. And it kind of just kept going from there for a while. And then I got out of art for a long time, like when I probably about 20-ish years old, 21. And it took a back seat to everything else that life offers and stuff. And I'd never, ever saw it as a viable career or that I could ever make money out of it.
Yep.
And it's still like pretty far in a distance where I could ever make that switch. But, you know, I've over the past 4 years, I got back into it. I started learning guitar and I was like, why the hell am I learning the guitar when I'm like, I can draw decently, you know, why don't I just continue to learn what I'm already okay at? And what I thought was okay back then, I feel like I've come miles since then, which is good.
Yeah.
But ever since I made that decision, I bought a sketchbook and I decided I'm going to draw on this all the time. And then I found a few different YouTube channels. David Finch, have you heard of him? He's an awesome comic book artist over like 30 years. Started off in like Image and all them. And very, very well respected and highly detailed comic artist. And he's got a YouTube channel, and I've found that. And he does live streams, and he answers your questions and talks to you. He does reviews. So, yeah, over the last 4 years, a lot of my growth has to do with his YouTube channel.
Cool.
Really
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be something that, you know, you really have to sort of perfect for a long time. Your art it's so difficult, and especially when you're doing stuff where, I mean, you must be scrutinized immensely with all the things that you do. Is that how it works?
Sometimes. Mostly people on the internet are relatively kind, which is a weird thing to say. But you know, not everything I do is good to me, and I certainly don't post everything. Like if it's not good, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna share it. Or if I do, I'll share it, and I'm like, a few weeks later, I'll like, oh, erase that from my timeline. I don't want anybody to see that again.
I hate it now.
I do
get rid of it.
Do hate it. Yeah, so I got back into drawing, got on YouTube stuff, went on some Facebook groups for connecting comic book artists and writers and trying to start, you know, learning how the craft of making a comic. Made a few connections there and did a few like short stories, maybe like 6-7 pages long.
Yep.
And then last year, around the same time, just like a month before I got the contact from Upper Deck, somebody wanted to do a 7-page story and do that together. We own it 50-50, and he'll pitch it around to a bunch of publishers around the world and, you know, throw a bunch of darts and see if anything sticks.
Yep.
And one of those stuck. So then, great. So now I had to do, instead of 7 pages, now I had to do 50 pages over the last almost a year, like 9 months. I did it, and that's done. In between, I did the cards when they came in. And I got contacted at random on Instagram from one of their talent scouts.
Oh, wow. So
that's how it happened.
So you kind of got headhunted there.
Oh, I get, yeah. Oh, yeah, just a random message popped up one day. Hey, it's so-and-so from Upper Deck. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then, you know, on like the internet and see if they're legit. And okay, this guy does seem to work for Upper Deck. Okay.
Wow.
And then, yeah, it went from there.
Your cards are awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we like both Neil and I, you know, have really like gone through your stuff and really love it. But
yeah,
what was kind of your big inspiration, sort of like growing up? Are you doing throwbacks to what you sort of grew up with in the way of, pardon me, Marvel?
You mean for the figures that I'm drawing now?
Yeah, like sorry.
No.
Are you
No throwback.
going for the? Yeah, sorry.
If I could paint like the Hildebrandt brothers, I would. You know.
Yeah.
That'd be like my. I'd love to learn to paint like that.
I mean, I think
what a great set though.
That's actually Neil and I's favorite set, pretty much of all time.
Yeah, well,
that came out.
I've got the whole thing right there. It's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it.
I was looking at it the other day. I was like, so much orange. There's a lot of orange in it. Like a lot of
orange. Everything kind of looks Cravenish. They got the,
but it's such a beautiful set, and it's one of the most. It's the best painting set I think they ever had. There was one that just come out like last year, I think, by one single famous artist. Can't remember who that guy was, but he painted them all.
I have no idea.
Was that the Flea?
Maybe.
What was this? The set that you and I busted open, Neil?
No, that was the Avengers set.
Is it still?
That was Avengers. And
I can't think of his name at the moment.
I don't know about the artist.
He was a guest.
Marvel Beginnings came out, but there was no. There was sketch cards in that, but they were few and far between.
I don't know if this was Upper Deck or what. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
that's all right.
Anywho, sorry.
So what did you grow up watching? Did you grow up watching sort of like the superhero shows, or were you a comic book kid or a sports kid?
No, I wasn't really a sports kid. I was an only child, so I was sat in front. I watched a lot of TV. I did go out and like play and that because it was the '80s, you know, and you actually went outside and had to
did stuff.
Show up before the lights on the street come on and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I got out and about and did stuff, but now, Ninja Turtles was a big thing. Probably my number one growing up was Ninja Turtles, like young kid. Because I was an 81 kid, like born in 81.
That's the same as me.
Yeah, okay. So, Ninja Turtles. Not so much Transformers. All my friends like Transformers and that. Not so much G.I. Joe. I did like Transformers, but not as much as Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was like my jam.
Ninja Turtles was pretty bloody good, man.
And then when I remember that movie first dropped, I think I saw an advertisement for it on a Fruit Roll-Ups box or something.
Yep.
And I was like, my eye lit up. I was like, it was like this big. I was like, look out! I ran to my mom. I was like, oh, coming out with a Ninja Turtle movie.
And it was
very excited.
And it was great.
And it's still
it was a good movie.
Still the best one.
I remember being a kid watching that movie for the first time, and when they were taking the kids to where the foot soldiers hang out and they were skateboarding in a warehouse and smoking cigarettes, I was like, dude, I'm sold, man.
That's where I want to be.
That's what I want to do. I'm going to be a foot soldier for the rest of my life, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then in the 90s, it was started getting into more comic booky stuff, and the X-Men cartoon was awesome. The Batman cartoon was awesome. I liked watching Spider-Man cartoon that was coming out, and the Batman and the Superman. They kind of crossed over a little bit in their own show.
I mean, I absolutely loved that X-Men series, that original series.
Did you watch the X-Men 97?
No, you and I spoke about it last week, but no, I haven't watched it yet. So
you gotta watch it.
I'm trying to get my kids to sit down at the same time so we can sort of watch it together.
You gotta watch it. It is good. It is.
Yeah. So that's the X-Men 97. So that's the new one that's just come out on Disney. Yeah.
I give them props for it. They've done it justice.
Which doesn't happen very often. I know when Kevin Smith redid the He-Man stuff, he copped a lot of flack for that. And I did watch it, and I did kind of go, it doesn't have Jay and Silent Bob, so I'm kind of not really that interested in it. So
I did He-Man. I watched He-Man as a kid as well. But when I started drawing, I think I still have my first sketchbook, all Ninja Turtle crap.
All Ninja Turtles.
And then then the Marvel the Marvel cards came in, and I started getting those. I'm like, well, I'm gonna draw these. And then I got into comics and all that. I have a decent collection, but not much. Not a big, huge collection.
Were you just Marvel, or did you like dabble into DC as well?
Mostly
being a Batman fan.
Image and mostly Marvel and Image.
Okay.
Can't go wrong. I mean, I can't say that I've never had a monthly book for DC, really.
Yeah.
I did I think I have all of the Marvel versus DC that they did. They did a big thing. You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amalgam, where they kind of combined characters.
Was that like it was a 4-book story, wasn't it?
It was they had one that was a main book, but then they released a bunch of, I don't know, maybe one shots for everybody else. Like Dark Claw was Batman and Wolverine combined, and then something else was somebody else, and it was okay. But no, I never really got into the DC books. I'm a Batman fan. Like I'll watch every Batman movie that ever comes out. You know, as long as it looks decent. At least once.
I
appreciate that, Paul. Thank you for placating me.
Up until the Batmobile, anyway.
Up until the Batmobile. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, you guys are
jealous. No, I'm a superhero genre fan. I'll watch up until last couple of years. I was watching everything, and then it stopped getting as good as it used to.
Yeah,
I stopped going, and now I kind of just wait.
So tell me,
like Wolverine, Deadpool, I'll go and watch that.
Oh yeah,
I'll watch that.
Oh, the new Deadpool looks awesome.
I'm a huge Venom fan, but I can't say that I'm a huge fan of the films. I don't see how you have Venom without Spider-Man first. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, that's a hard one. And I think
I love that story where he gets a black costume and he like struggles with it. And Spider-Man 3 aside, I don't like that movie either. But
I don't think Tobey Maguire likes that movie, dude. Where he's walking down the street and he pops his collar. All they had to do
was spend the whole movie with him getting the suit and then the struggles of the suit making him turn into an asshole or a bad guy, not an emo dude that is like moody. Like he's trying to be the next Batman or something.
Where he's walking down the street and he's like,
"Oh, it's cringy. It is cringy. It is so.
It is one of the worst things. It's as bad as when Padme and Anakin are standing on the balcony and they're arguing about who loves each other more. I almost walked out. I was like, dude, I'm over this, man. George, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me. I put your kids through college even though you didn't need it. You're killing me.
Yeah.
So were there any artists that inspired you at all in regards to the journey that you're going on? Or has it been more so your fascination with turtles, comics, cards and whatnot?
Well, there have been. However, over the years, especially when I was looking at these cards and even comics that I was copying and, trying to emulate and all that as a teenager, and I never paid attention to who they were, unfortunately. There's a few that are like Mount Rushmore for me. Jim Lee, which I could never emulate. He's just so super detailed. And all the stuff. Like if you look at any of his stuff now, it's like, especially just the pencil work, it's like, where do you start? It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much information on the page. Couldn't dream of it.
Yeah.
Joe Madureira, you know who that one is?
I haven't heard of that name, no.
So in the 90s, there was him. Battle Chasers. He's done X-Men. Anyway, he was like a teen sensation back in the day, and he had a manga style that he brought in to American comics, and it took over. Like people loved it, and it would make like other artists emulate him.
Wow.
other pro artists. But he only stuck around for a few years. I think he does video game stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever look him up, he's got some amazing work. But he's more of a cartoony, like a manga style. I kind of like that, where it's like in between hyper detailed and a cartoon. It's kind of where I think I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure. I haven't analyzed it or anything like that. And nobody's analyzed it. But I'm trying to just always get better.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 100%.
David Finch, like I said, I've learned a lot from him and his channel. Yep. I'm not trying to draw like anybody. I'm just trying to do my best that I think I can do.
Yep.
Yep.
And hopefully I get better and better. That's the goal.
Anyway. No, your cards are great. They're fantastic. So who's your favorite character that you've drawn so far?
Oh, that I've drawn on the set?
Or who's your favorite character anyway?
I have two favorite characters, and they're both bad guys. I like Venom and I like Magneto.
Nothing wrong with that.
Magneto and
Venom.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
They're definitely my favorite. Not favorite to draw. Funny enough.
No. But, a bit of detail.
But I just really like the characters and
I think
much the detail. I like Venom's easy. I think really for anybody because there's no real rule with Venom. He's a monster, like Alien.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like with Carnage and Venom, you sort of have, in my opinion, what I would, pardon me, a little bit of leeway with what you can do because they don't really have any real structure. You can kind of do it with anything. That's how I would look at it anyway. So
unless you're doing like a book where you've got to draw them on page after page after page and make them look consistent, and you got to come up with what he really wants to look like.
Yeah.
While you're going to be drawing this book, but no.
I wouldn't even think of that. That's insane. That's a valid point. Having to draw it consistently through a 50-page book or whatever it may be. I'm sure it would be difficult, judging by your face.
Hey, and the book hasn't even come out. Like, you can't even tell if it's like going to be okay or not. You know, it's probably going to go straight down the toilet for all I know. We'll see.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I love it.
So tell me. Sorry, Neil, you go.
I'm taking one of Peter's questions here. Being American, did you ever collect sports cards or anything like that?
For a time, I did collect basketball cards. I got a bunch of like Shaq rookie cards and things like that. They were like awesome at the time. I don't think they're worth anything these days, but I think at the time they were. Like, I remember at the time seeing in like a Beckett, like the magazine Beckett back in the day. Is that
dude,
Beckett.
Beckett was my Bible for a very long time with baseball cards, man.
They had this Shaq rookie card. I was like, oh, this one's $100. Oh, and my friend had it, and I traded him for it. And then like, I'll look at it a year later, and it's down to $20.
My biggest problem was
a little bit like Marvel cards over the last 3 years. They were super high, and then they've sort of started trajectory of going down a little bit.
Yeah, no, I've got a bunch, but I have no idea on whether they're good or not.
Well, I mean, in the market these days, it kind of needs to be graded really to be sort of have any monetary value, which I think is a shame. But you know, what are you going to do? The market dictates itself these days, especially concerning the price between grades and raw cards. So
yeah, it's a shame, really, because it entombs it, right? So you can never touch it again. You can never flip it and feel it in your hand. You're feeling plastic forever.
Yeah,
that's kind of like with like a comic book or whatever. It's entombed. Like you can't ever flip through it. It's just a poster now.
So as an artist, how do you feel? Like I've got a guy that I work with, who's actually a friend of the podcast. Pardon me. He reads a lot of manga, but everything he reads is online. And how do you, as an artist, feel like if you were putting books out, would you want everything to be physical copies, or would you be happy doing it with sort of a digital kind of situation?
No, I think there's a market for both, really, because I think you'll find that the people who, like you said, just look at the books online, they're going to go for the books online. They're never going to buy like a real book. But then you got the other ones that are like, no, I want the physical copy. I think there's a market for both. They don't necessarily are the same people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's like
I get it. I mean, for me, books
I've read a couple
the
online.
smell.
I've read a couple online here and there, but I don't usually buy a lot of comic books. I've got, for the first time in a long time, I've actually put my name down for every month on a comic, and it's the new Transformers comic that's been out.
Nice.
Really good comic. Really cool. Not super childish. Like at the end of the first one, because it's like the origin, like they're coming back to Earth for the first time or something, or waking up at Earth. Starscream picks up a human. He's like, "Ooh, what's this? Ooh, squishy!" And he like squashes it in his hand. That's at the end of the first. But that's the kind of book it is. You know what I mean?
I love it.
It's pretty good. Like people are getting flinged around and flipped around. And it's drawn by. I know the guy. I'll follow on YouTube.
You're right.
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great artist, and I've picked up a stylization from him in my art, which I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to admit.
Okay.
It's his.
So
motion.
Do you get them? Do you get them to the newsagents, or do you get them sent to your house?
No, I get them sent to my house. You know? We don't have a comic shop here in town.
Yeah. Dude, I live in the Gold Coast, but I don't think we have a comic book store. We have to go to Brisbane.
I love it.
Really?
So,
There's one or two in Perth, I know.
Yeah, there's a few popping up in Sydney. There's some more bricks and mortar coming as we speak. And there's a lot more shows actually turning up in Sydney now, trading card shows. Actually, there's 3 coming up in the next couple of months. So it's getting a little bit more traction, I suppose, after COVID and not much of anything. Now it's starting to come back to fruition again, which is good.
How much is it to get something graded? Going back to grading, how much is it?
So I've got where do I begin? So for PSA,
what's that?
PSA is basically the main grading company for most cards. Yeah. It's about $19 US to, depending on what sort of program you're in, to 25, I think. I actually just had
a repeat customer.
Correct. So you can get a membership and things like that. So you can pay for a membership and then you get their magazine every month, and then you can also send in your cards. And I've done it a fair few times. I just recently got the 1966 Marvel Superheroes set graded. The whole set of 66 cards.
I saw that episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And they're just different. Like you don't get cards like that these days where people literally wrote on them back in the day. You know, and into captions. So that was quite unique. I suppose if you ask most Marvel collectors, it's probably one of the sort of grail sets that you can get because it's got all the rookie cards, or it's got 6 of the rookies anyway. And the Spider-Man one is obviously the biggest one. So yeah, I mean,
which Spider-Man?
Sorry,
I said which Spider-Man?
I don't know.
Is it number 6 or is it the actual Spider-Man?
So there's the Spider-Man. There's obviously a cartoon on the back as well, where there's a Spider-Man head, and so the argument between those 2 cards is it the back of the card or the front of the card? I thought to be fair, the Spider-Man was pretty ordinary on that set for the rookie card. You should have picked a better one. But
they have that argument in comics as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's no answer to it.
Like when an ad comes out in someone else's book for a comic that hasn't come out yet, isn't that the first appearance?
Yeah.
I think they argue that.
Thought of that.
I believe. But the first card that says Spider-Man on it, that should be the first rookie card, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the one. Yeah, and that's the one that goes for more value. I think it's just an argument between people that actually know. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a great set. So that was the last thing I got graded, but I've had a fair few. So I collect Iron Man cards. I've had a lot of them graded. For the 12 Iron Man cards in that set, I've got probably graded 7 to 8, which are really good condition for 1966 for that whole sort of set for them. So I got the Iron Man rookie card. But yeah, just little bits and pieces from mainly the 90s I've had graded. But And I've sent them from here over to California, and they've come back, no issue at all. So the processing grading, I've had no problem with, but I've only ever had gradings from PSA. I've never got them from Beckett or anywhere else. So that's, I guess, what I've done. I can't really talk for anyone else. Yeah.
I put it up on the app thingy that you guys have.
Yeah. icollekt.
Yeah, and that is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a golden card.
Yeah. It looks
that is
good.
So beautiful.
It wouldn't be like a perfect card, but I've looked after it ever since I pulled it out of the pack for sure.
Yeah.
You pulled that out of a pack.
Pulled it out of a pack at my comic shop back in the day when I was like 14 or 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Maybe.
I love it.
What year did that come out? 96? Whatever year.
I couldn't see what set it was, but yeah, back then, yeah, mid 90s for sure. And what a great era. I mean, there's so many great sets came out in 1996 for Marvel, particularly, and every other genre, I guess, as well.
Except for the foil set that you bought a whole box of, and every card was stuck together.
That's right. Yeah, they're all bricked. The entire set.
Somewhere was it? No, I don't think it was you guys that I was watching, but I saw somebody opening up one of them. And they were all stuck together and all damaged.
It was the 93 Marvel.
Was it Skybox?
I think it was. Yeah, actually, it was Skybox. Yeah. So I opened one box, put it on TikTok saying how bad's bricking, and I'm like, I don't believe it. I'm going to buy another one, and it was exactly the same. So I think it was stupid me. The coding on the cards stuck them together.
Yeah.
But there's still people trying to sell them online, but there's no way I'd be buying another box. But if you can get a good card in that set, I mean, those cards probably should be more valuable than what they actually are at the moment, because now, I mean, they're dead. When you get the 1990 set, they're not coded on the front, and so they come apart perfectly. Yeah. And so, that's the sort of thing I guess people should probably be looking at. They're not, but, that's what I'd be looking at for sure.
I had a bunch from that.
Yeah.
From, I think, the 90s set.
But, I mean, those sets are just incredible compared to sort of what the stuff that I think we've got going through now.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. What did you say, Paul? Sorry, say that again.
Sorry.
Sorry, I missed that.
The 90s set, was that the one that had the white border around and had like the little wavy name?
Yeah, so there's a superheroes and a villain set on that's the 92, sorry. No, you're right. Yeah, there is a border on it. And the only card I remember is there's a variation. It was a Hulk card. That's an error card in there. And that's the most valuable card in the 1990 set. But, I have a box sealed, but I'm not going to open it. So
what about the Spawn cards? Are those things valuable at all? Please?
The what cards? Sorry,
they were like long cards.
Spawn cards.
Yeah,
he had a bunch of packs come out in that.
Yeah, they bought out. They were like the long rectangle ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Star Wars came out with the same ones. Yeah, they didn't catch on.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't put them in a binder folder with Ultra Pro sleeves. You can't, it was just impractical, I think, is what was the big killer on those sets.
I do have that whole set.
Oh, beautiful.
I was really into Spawn back in the day, too.
I love it. Yeah. Look, I suppose my favorite cards are I was fascinated with the 2008 movie sketch cards that came out, the Iron Man cards. There was an artist there, Brian Kong. I think he's out of New York, I'm pretty sure. He had a really Asian-inspired sort of Iron Man, which were quite interesting. They looked almost like samurai on some of the cards, and I was quite inspired by that. I should have probably grabbed a couple. Let me grab one. Hang on a second. Keep talking.
Yeah, no, okay. My rules changed for that, I believe, because I wasn't allowed to. I had to do comic book accurate-ish characters.
Yeah.
Not movies.
Do you have to sort of be further sort of into have a longevity career to be able to be allowed to have sort of that freedom to do what you want, or it just doesn't really happen?
I don't know. I think, well, like I said, this is my rookie set. So
yeah.
This is first time doing it. And I only had like 3 weeks at the time, I think, to do them.
Yeah.
but my second set, they started getting better with the time. I think it was up to over like a month and a half, and now future set seems to they're starting to give people like months now, so it's good. I think that you'll see lots of sketch cards get better and better the more time people get to do them.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. let me just show you quickly to give me your opinion on it. So that's one of them. Can you see that?
Kind of looks like a Juggernaut type helmet.
A little bit. Yeah.
It looks like that's cool. From the Fifth Element.
Almost, yeah. Actually, yeah, it does. A little bit. So anyway, I thought they were really cool. They were really different compared to all the other stuff that was getting drawn. So, and I've got a fair few of the 2008. I've probably got about 15 to 20 of them. So, but they'll like them. Yeah. But I'm moving to Thanos now, or possibly Kingpin. So,
I've had to do a couple Ironmen for the sets, but they want.
Yeah, I liked your Iron Man was nice. I liked your Iron Man you did in that set that you put up with all of them.
Thank you.
It was really nice.
They want comic accurate costumes.
Yeah.
And like likenesses. They don't want to see any celebrity likenesses that have played them over the years. I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, like, because they have a lot of times in the celebrities clauses when they have licensed things, they have to get approved by the celebrity themselves sometimes.
All right.
Oh, wow.
I think you'll find out with the Star Wars cards, if I'm not mistaken, they have to actually go all the way to the actor themselves and get a thumbs up. And who knows how long that could take.
Yeah, for sure.
So
but you're sort of more talking about like if like Stark's helmet was up and you had to do his likeness,
it can't look like Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
It can't be similar. It'd have to look like a comic booky face, basically.
Yeah, right.
Or
there you go.
Not like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
or
just
a celebrity.
a bit more generic sort of thing. Yeah. No, fair enough.
I love it.
Which is cool, and I struggled a bit with the female character because it's like you want to draw females, but you can't draw them too sexy. You can't draw cleavage, and you can't, which is fine, but it's like got to make it look cool still. Like, it was a challenge. It is a challenge, but
which I mean would be completely different when dealing with manga, where the female form is sort of blown out of proportion compared to what sort of Western comics is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I sometimes wonder if that's a big contributing factor of why manga sales are doing so much better than comic sales.
You've just cracked the code to how to sell more books, man.
But I don't know. It might not be that. It might be the storytelling. I don't know. It might not be just horny, like 14-year-old kids buying comics. I don't know.
I'm sure it's a combination. It could be, yeah. All right. Are you ready for some rapid questions, Paul?
Okay.
All right. They're not that difficult. They're rapid, so it's okay. Peter, are you ready?
Yep. Ready to go. Here we go.
All right. Paul, Transformers or Turtles?
Turtles, yeah.
Turtles.
Biggest goat of all time?
Michael Jordan.
Favorite Pokemon?
The one with the fire. Charizard.
There you go. Star Wars or Star Trek?
That's not a one-answer question. I can't answer that. I'll have to go back.
Hey, there's no judgment here.
I have to say both.
Both?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I've rewatched Star Wars many times more than I've watched Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of watching Star Trek Voyager at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I was in Star Trek Next Generation a lot around all that same time. It was coming on TV. Enjoyed it. Watched every episode many times.
Yeah.
I even went to a couple Star Trek conventions.
Wow.
There you go.
Very cool.
All right. All right. Next question. Favorite toy?
Define toy.
Anything. Toy.
Like an action figure type of toy.
If that's what you think it is, yeah.
Like a lightsaber toy.
A Barbie, whatever you want. It's up to you.
I'd have to go to lightsaber.
Okay,
lightsaber.
Perfect. Harry Potter? Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
I go Harry Potter.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What D&D class best describes you?
The Rogue.
Nice answer. All right. Very cool.
Going back to the Harry Potter thing, though.
Okay.
Just one time, I wanted them. Just one time, I've not read the books.
Yeah.
My girlfriend loves Harry Potter and the books and all that, the movies.
Cool.
But one time, I just wanted them to just tell me why somebody just doesn't bring a gun and shoot one of the wizards.
What was that?
Bring a gun and shoot one of the wizards. Just write it out. Show me them beat somebody with a gun, please. Once. Just once. All you have to do is show it once. You don't have to show it again.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, you bring some good
have
arguments.
somebody come in with, a pistol or an assault rifle, whatever you want, and you're just like, no. And then it's done, and then it's gone.
All right.
Or just block a bullet or something.
I love it. That's the best answer I've had to Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings so far.
It's hilarious. There's a comic.
Yeah.
I'm going to bear with it.
That's all right.
I'll find it.
Imagine a gun in Harry Potter. That's new. I haven't heard that. That's good.
Did you see Guns Akimbo?
No.
So that's like Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, is in that. And it's like a web-based sort of live manhunt. And he wakes up and he has guns bolted onto his hands.
Oh, that's cool.
And and it's crazy. It's just funny when you say Harry Potter and guns, because I just imagine Daniel Radcliffe running around with guns bolted through his hands.
I love it.
So I don't buy many comics. I said before, I got the Transformers thing. I got the Ninja Turtles Ronin. Did you watch that? Did you get into that at all?
I know about it. I didn't get into it.
Yeah, I have seen it, but yeah.
That was good. I recommend that. That was awesome. It was really cool. And this one, I tried this one just because I saw something about it. But this is basically their version of Harry Potter in a way. But it's dark and it's magical. And at the beginning flashback, he kills the bad guy with a gun. And I was like, it's my idea. It's right there. Nothing's original. I can't even think of anything original anymore. It's just like,
damn it.
Right when you think of something cool, it's already been thought of.
It's already been done.
All right.
It was funny.
Let me continue the slowish, rapid questions right now. That's okay. DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
If you could be in any universe, which universe would you choose?
I don't know. Like, I'll go with Marvel. That's fine.
Yep,
that's fair. Yeah, MCU, nice. Who would win a fight? Scooby Doo.
More.
Who?
Like a Marvel.
Who would win a fight? Scooby Doo or Bluey?
I'd have to go with Scooby Doo on this one. Bluey's relatively new.
Ish. Yeah.
Right?
He's a blue healer.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo's
isn't it a she?
Scooby Doo's got experience.
Yeah, that's what I said. She's a blue healer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually, they're just about to mint a coin with Bluey on it. Bluey's getting super popular in Australia at the moment.
Bluey. Man, is that from the Australian cartoon?
Yes.
Is that new? Is that relatively new, though?
Well, it's a few years old, maybe.
A couple of years old, yeah. But, I mean, it's making massive waves over in the States. They love it over there.
Is that a Western Australian person that did that?
I have no idea.
It was on the news here a while ago, and I couldn't. Usually, they don't care about anybody but Western Australia here. So.
It's the other side of the world, dude. Seriously,
it is. It really is. I've not explored the rest of Australia yet. I've been out of Western Australia.
Really?
Have you been over outside?
No.
Not at all. There you go. No. 2018, Bluey came around. That's when it started.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. 6 years.
Yeah, it's not really old, yeah. So, but yeah, Well, you should,
Yeah.
to be honest, Paul, you should probably explore a little bit more around Australia. There's a lot more
I'm a bit
area,
of a hermit,
I
to be
suppose.
honest.
That's fair. That's fair.
I go to
That's
Bali
fair.
every once in a while.
Don't go to Sydney.
Yeah, nice.
Sucks.
I'm going to Bali at the end of the month. So
I love it.
I love it.
Well, Bali's closer than Sydney for you. So
Yeah, well, fully.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So let's just finish off with the Q&A. So a question came through was, how old were you guys? It was for Pete last episode. How old were you guys in 1994? And what was your best memory of the year?
I was 13. Man, I can't remember what happened last week.
That was too long ago. That's what I thought.
I was gonna say it just like it was for me. It was the start of getting into punk rock. You know,
Okay.
I just heard The Offspring, Green Day, stuff like that, and then seeing Rancid. That sort of set me on a path that has dictated where I've gone for a very long time. So that's what I'll say.
Nice, beautiful. Paul, 1994.
1994.
How old were you? And
Same
what
age,
would you remember of that year?
12, 13.
Yeah.
13.
I remember from your episode, you were talking about cat bugging me now.
I was wondering where the cat noise was coming from. That was you.
That's me.
Love it.
Probably the Jim Carrey movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I was
Ace
surprised to
Ventura.
hear there were only 3 that came out that year. That was
Yeah.
a huge year.
But that's what I mean. Like the list of movies that came out that year was epic, and they're still resonating today. It was insane. That's what I was researching. I couldn't believe it. That's why we did the episode, because it was awesome.
When I was 16, I got my first job. I was working in the movie theater. It was awesome.
Nice.
I got to watch all the movies for free. But when
I love it.
first got there, it was I started in January, and Titanic had already been out for a few months.
Yeah.
I don't know when Titanic came out, but it was already out for a long time. It was a big thing, and it was still selling out movies by the time I started. And that's how I saw it. I kind of saw it in snippets, out of order, and had to put it together in my head on what was happening when.
I love it.
It's pretty funny though, because I refused to watch it for the longest time, and then finally, because I grew a hatred for it originally, because
love it.
Everybody would just leave their trash everywhere, and rubbish everywhere, and ungrateful people. How hard is it to take your trash to the bin?
Love it. I love it. I love it.
But there's
awesome.
a year. There's a year for movies. What year it was? But maybe 97.
Yeah. What came out?
I'm trying to remember now. I know a really bad Godzilla movie came out that year.
I remember that one. That was the Matthew Broderick one, wasn't it?
That came out. Something About Mary came out.
Oh man, I love that movie.
Funny movie.
Wild Things came out.
Wild, yeah.
I'm just remember all the movies that I saw.
Education.
At the theater.
You can't. Saying it's educational, Neil, doesn't mean that you're allowed to watch it whenever you want, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I love it.
Yeah. No, I really enjoy movies a lot more. Like you guys talk about music, but I can't get into music. I love to talk about movies.
Yeah.
Oh man, we love movies.
Mm.
I remember Starship Troopers came out. I was like, oh my god,
top movie.
I love that movie.
How good was that movie?
Neil and I are so polar opposites with movies, and that's the hard thing on the podcast. Is that unless it's got aliens or dragons in it, I don't really want to watch it. And for Neil, unless it's got gangsters in it, he doesn't really want to watch it. So
pretty much.
Yeah.
But Starship Troopers, there was something about Starship Troopers that was pretty cool. I don't know what it was. But it was just...
It's just a good movie.
It escalated so quickly, that movie. That's what I liked about it.
It was good because it had violence, blood and guts, naked chicks, cussing, and sci-fi.
Yep.
And just yes.
It worked.
Covered all bases, man.
Make a Star Wars movies like that.
Yeah. So we've got some great variations for Star Wars and Harry Potter tonight. I think there's a lot to go on. Yeah, this evening. But Paul, look, I must say it's been super educational in regards to sketch art and getting an understanding of how it all begins. And starting with turtles. Or hopefully one day you can do some sketches for turtles. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Do you still do sketches for turtles, or on your like?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Everyone's.
I love it.
I did one really big piece over a year ago. I was really proud of it. It was going to be a gift, and I ended up not being able to give it away, and I kept it for myself. I did end up like coloring it and giving them, a print of the colored version and all that. But I took the original last year down to Supernova Comic-Con in Perth and got it signed by Kevin Eastman.
Okay, nice.
And I thought that was pretty cool. Got to meet Kevin Eastman and have a chit chat with him. And, he wrote on it and drew a little Ninja Turtle face. And
that's awesome. Man.
It's framed, ready to be picked up now. I just have to go and get it. Finally got around to framing it.
Yeah, very nice.
Make sure you send us a photo of that, man, because that's going to be 100%. Awesome to see.
Yeah.
But look, we'd love to have you back on once again. Sort of, I know you got a book coming out very soon.
Absolutely.
And
soonish.
Yeah, we'd love to have
publisher. How these things might go. I don't know. It's like
but
let us know.
We'd love to have you back on so we can talk about your book, dude. That'd be awesome.
Okay, yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks. And even like I've got another set coming out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So even when that gets announced, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, man. Of course. I mean, do you want to sort of give a bit of a shout out to yourself? Like, tell us where people can find you and stuff like that.
Instagram is fine.
Yep.
Mostly Instagram. I got a TikTok, but I don't. I like to communicate through Instagram as my number one. Really, cool. Unless friends on Facebook or something like that. That's fine too. But
awesome.
Yeah.
100%.
Instagram.
We'll definitely steer people towards your Instagram.
For Upper Deck. It should work for everybody else, right?
100%. All right. Well, hey, Paul, thank you so much for coming on to the episode 31, Collectors of Everything, Experts of None. And we'll be back next week for episode 32. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.